Okay.
We're still. Waiting for one more person. We got everybody now, so if you want to rise, we're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We thank you all for coming. And fire exits are marked. If you have pagers or cell phones with you, we have to have them turned off so we don't get interrupted in the middle of things. And can we have a roll call?
Henry Hill.
Yes.
Basil LaForest.
Here.
Roger Black.
Here.
Marianne Alexandra.
Here.
Patrick Duhane.
Here. And can we have an approval that this meeting was advertised as required?
I'll make a motion.
In a second.
I'll second it.
And roll call vote on that?
Henry Hill.
Yes.
Basil LaForest.
Yes.
Roger Black.
Yes.
Marianne Alexandra.
Yes.
Patrick Duhane.
And can
Let
we
the
have
record reflect that myself, Brett, and Alan are here too.
Oh yeah.
The attorney is not.
Let's start that over. Stephen Ihop.
Here.
Alan Reese.
Here.
Brett Baker.
Here.
All right. Now moving on.
Okay. And we have a motion to approve the meeting of October 8th.
Shall I make a motion?
And second that, somebody?
I'll second it.
And roll call vote on that?
Henry Hill.
Yes.
Basil LaForest.
Yes.
Roger Black.
Yes.
Marianne Alexandra.
Yes.
Patrick Duhane.
Yes. And we go to old business with Steve.
The first old business is only, they are not going to be heard tonight. It's at the request a 30-day extension. I'm going to say the last name incorrectly, Karen Bolham, for appeal number 2324 and 2325. They did not get any new info to us, and they asked for another 30-day extension for their project for horses in a residential district. So if anybody's here for that, they will not be heard tonight.
So, do we want, we have to do two different appeals because of two different appeal numbers here. So anybody want to make a motion that we give them a 30-day continuance?
Mr. Chairman,
Second.
before you motion second, I would recommend it when you do, since this is their second extension,
This is it.
that you make it, this is it. If they don't make it for the next month, they're done, they start all over again. Since you already gave them a 3-month span already.
Okay. And somebody said yes, I think.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And I second.
And second down there and
What's the
roll call.
motion for it?
Next continuation for 30 days. 30 days and that's it. And show of hands on that, and then a roll call vote.
Henry Hill.
Yes.
Basil LaForest.
Yes.
Roger Black.
Yes.
Marianne Alexandra.
Yes.
Patrick Duhane.
Yep. And then appeal number 2325, which will be the second portion of continuance. Somebody?
I'll make a motion.
Second. And show of hands on that. And a roll call vote.
Henry Hill.
Yes.
Basil LaForest.
Yes.
Roger Black.
Yes.
Marianne Alexandra.
Yes.
Patrick Duhane.
And then we can go on to new business.
Appeal number 2336, Leslie Nichols. Mr. Trim,
Yes.
you'd like to step, are you representing them?
Yes.
Front and center, front seat, hot seat's all yours. Parcel, if you can come right here and sit down in front. So it's parcel 194-224.8. It's a vacant parcel on Cumberland Head. Looking to achieve an area variance request to be allowed to build a modular home with an attached 2-car garage, which doesn't meet the 50-foot total front yard setback in an R4 residential district. They encroach 6 feet into the side yard, leaving a total of 44 feet for the total side yards. Alan has the details to try to explain to you guys where this is located.
Okay, Mr. Chair, if you go out onto Cumberland Head, this is the Thomas McDonough Highway road here. You hang on left at the stoplight, come down, it's these lots right over here on the immediate left. So you can see all this yellow here is all zoned R4. So we're looking at this lot right here. And if you can tell, you can see how skinny these lots are.
Excuse me, it's the next lot over.
This right here, that was this right there. Yeah, that's what that. Okay. So you can see how skinny this lot is compared to these lots here. That's what these two used to be, but so there were 2 lots here that were merged back together to make it a little bit larger. So you can see, that's what it looks like today. A little dust and snow. And this is the layout plan for the house going on the lot that's being Cumberland Head Road up here. So the total is not achieved. So you have to have a minimum of 20. You have to have a total of 50. He's got a minimum of 20 on each side, but this one's only 24. Has to have 30. That's where it needs the variance. Mr. Trim, all yours.
Okay, yeah, it's something, we started this project unaware of, the setbacks of 20 on one and 30 on the other, and depending on what side, it doesn't matter. So we're about ready to order a house, and then I came in and figure out where we're putting it and some other information. And then I was told that it was total 50 for the side yard setbacks. So we originally were doing a 28-foot garage, so that wiped that out. So we went to 24. I mean, obviously we can go, with a little bit smaller garage. It's an elderly lady. She lives alone, big house.
Yeah.
But if we get 22 foot, it's kind of hard for her to get into the house, into the garage, get groceries out and stuff. So without,
Well, basic car is 9 feet wide.
yeah, and then opening the doors and stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you got 18 feet,
Yeah.
1.5 feet on
Yeah.
each side, basically.
So, I mean, if we could, like I said, 20 foot would probably be, it'd be good if we could get to 20 foot. We'd like to go obviously the full 24, but.
Yeah, they can still go deeper.
Yeah.
They can need more square footage actually for the garage. That would negate the variance.
Yeah, because without it, what are we, 36, so we're 18, yeah. So I had spoke to her, and I mean, she really don't want an 18 foot, because I showed her in our office, I kind of put 18 foot there, and she went out and measured the car and stuff, and, she was hoping to get a little bit more, but.
I'm just looking at, a standard parking spot in any parking lot is
Yeah.
9 feet by 18. So
Yeah.
that's what we're looking at.
Right.
All right. Anybody here? I'll open up the public hearing portion of the meeting. Anybody here like to speak to this matter? And not seeing anybody raise a hand, we will close the public hearing portion of the meeting. I don't think it didn't go down to the county.
It did go down the county,
Did it? Okay.
because of the close proximity to
The county road there, okay.
yes. So it did go down to the Clinton County Planning Board for a 239M referral. At the board, it was voted 8 in favor, 0 not in favor, 0 absent, and 0 abstained. We do have a letter from, which I believe is the next house, if you have the next house right there.
So here.
Yes. They're John Riviera and Annette Riviera. They have a couple addresses, but it says 252-4860 Avenue, Suite 100, Little Neck, New York. Dear Mr. Imhoff, Code Officer, My husband, John, and myself received your letter dated October 29th, 24. We are both objecting to anyone building or intruding in on our property lines. If they want to buy the parcel, I may sell it to them, but no way are we allowing anyone to infringe on or near our parcel lines. I am also sending a hard copy of this letter to you before November 12th, 2024. The parcel is going to be used in the near future. I pray you will protect and honor my request that no one has permission to change anything or use our land at all. Thank you very much for contacting us. We truly appreciate you making sure we know what was going on and giving us a chance to protect our property, which we pay taxes for every single year. Sincerely yours, John and Annette Riviera.
Can I say something on that? Just,
Well,
if we reverse the house, we're at 20 foot on their side anyway. You know what I'm saying?
I think they were looking at, they were going to
Get
build
close.
on a part of their land or whatever.
Well, they own the next parcel, so the
Yeah.
house with the parcel.
Right, they're not really,
That has nothing to do with this one.
no, it's not really encroaching into their property line.
Not at all.
Board members have any comments that you would like to make?
They did already.
Well, as I think mentioned, it's more of a want than, or a want than a need. So we're kind of granting a variance preemptively. And it can be achieved by making it an 18-foot wide garage. Most garage doors are 9 foot wide. So I don't know, I mean, even if you're up 2 feet on the right side and 9 feet, you'd only be 11 feet on the left side of the garage door, and that would leave you 7 feet to get to the house. So
So, basically,
I don't see the requirements being met as far as granting it.
And if it's
Area
square footage,
variance.
it can always go deeper.
there's plenty of room to go deeper if you needed more
Yeah.
freezers or storage or whatever. Whether the benefit can be achieved by other means feasible to the applicant, which is part of the balancing test. And from what the board is saying, they do have other means.
Yeah, I totally understand.
Undesirable change your neighborhood character to nearby properties, I don't see that happening. Whether the request is substantial, not necessarily, whether the request will have adverse physical or environmental effects, I don't really see any of them, and whether the alleged difficulty is self-created. And being that you're actually a blank piece of paper, basically looking at it saying, what can you do with this lot and stay within the zoning codes? You have that ability to start with, so that's the way we look at it. Anybody like to make a motion on this one?
I'll make a
To approve,
motion to deny.
to deny? You got a second on that one?
I'll second.
In a show of hands? And a roll call vote?
Henry Hill,
Yes.
Basil LaForest,
Yes.
Roger Black,
Yes.
Marianne Alexander,
Yes.
Patrick Duhane.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Good holiday.
Worth a shot.
Yeah.
Next appeal is Rick Menard, Breton Center. Appeal number 2337, Rick and Giselle. Menard. Their request allowed to build a 2-car attached garage which doesn't meet the 50-foot side yard setback or the 50-foot front yard setback in an R2 district, encroaching 10 feet into the side yard total and 20 feet into the roadside front yard setback, leaving 30-foot front yard property line setback and 15 to the side yard of the property line. Alan has the details and pictures on site.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this is Route 3 here coming down. This is Rand Hill Road here. We're looking at this property right here. You can see that property is all R2 district. So here's the existing house, existing driveway off of Route 3. From the opposite view, here's their current single car garage. You're looking to make an addition off this side over here. It looks like today. And the proposed plan. Okay, sir. Anything you'd like to add?
It's, just to clarify, we are planning on tearing down the existing garage. The existing garage is a single bay, built in the 40s, I believe, and I don't believe it was built on frost walls and units and stuff. So anyway, long story short, we're gonna be replacing that existing garage, tearing it down, and then we're gonna build a 2-car garage onto that same, platform, basically. So the front yard setback, I guess we've been in violation of it all the time because it's not gonna, encroach any further.
Right.
So really it's
Is there any reason that you couldn't actually slide it back?
Probably not. I mean, what we were planning on doing is putting a little porch where the existing steps are.
Right.
We were gonna fill in that in the middle, and there was gonna be a 7-foot porch with the roof extending over it. I guess if we probably could work with them to come up with a different design, but that was what we thought was most, I don't know, looks wise, it would be,
Well, I'm just looking at it, and it could be actually staggered to the rear where you have a lot of property. They could go back 5-10 feet easily without interrupting
And you
anything.
create more of a variance on the right-hand side though. So actually shortening the depth of the property, given that it's already
Well,
pre-existing non-conforming.
Right, I was looking at the person that had the question on the visibility that we got the letter on.
I'm also not, we have a raised bed septic system back there also
Ooh.
that goes,
Yeah,
well,
I
it
see
would
that.
be from the left corner of the house, basically, out to the right. So that, I don't know what the codes are for that also. That may come into play on that. It goes 60 feet, the
Yeah, it's on your
lines,
plan.
the 3 lines, so.
All right, we'll open up the public hearing portion of the meeting. Anybody here like to speak to this matter?
Can we clarify this visibility problem? Is it a visibility problem?
So I'll read, you want me to read into it?
Read into the
There's
record.
nobody in here, so this
And
did,
you
for a
can count
2/3.
too, right?
Yeah, it did go for a 239M referral, Mr. Chairman. 8 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 absent, 0 abstained. This is a little long, but bear with me. November 6, 2024, Town of Plattsburgh Codes and Zoning. Dear Mr. Code Officer, Stephen M. Imhoff, objection to appeal 2337, request for area variance at 1321 Route 3, Morrisonville. We are writing in response to the variance request made by Rick and Giselle Menard for the expansion of a 2-car garage on their property located at 1321 Route 3, Morrisonville, New York, and identified under appeal number 2337. Specifically, we are concerned with the proposed encroachment into the 50-foot side yard and front yard setbacks. Our driveway and the Menards' driveways are approximately 100 feet apart. As long-term residents of this area over 30 years, we have witnessed firsthand the dangers of the intersection at Route 3 and Rand Hill Road. This is particularly hazardous curve with a speed limit that drops from 55 to 40 miles per hour. Over the years, we have experienced numerous close calls with speeding drivers, many of whom exceed the posted 40-mile-an-hour limit. We have also seen a series of accidents, including fatalities, in this area due to the sharp curve and high speeds. We were forced to install a turnaround many years ago due to the danger of backing out into the driveway. There have been several incidents where drivers tailgated us or honked aggressively while speeding past. Even creating the turnaround, we have had to pull out forward and make adjustments to avoid collisions. We have seen the Menards experience similar situations. The curve at this location is blind for both drivers on Route 3 and those coming off Bracken Road. This creates a significant risk of accidents, and there are numerous incidents where we've had to reverse back into our driveway to avoid being hit. Given these ongoing safety concerns, we cannot support any further obstructions or encroachments on the line of sight for drivers entering or exiting the area. The addition of any structure or landscape that could block our visibility or the visibility of approaching vehicles, including tractor trailers, which take longer to slow down, would only exacerbate an already dangerous situation. We strongly believe that vehicles routinely exceed the speed limit, and even if the speed limits were lowered, We question how such a reduction would be effectively enforced. At the age of the neighborhood, as the age of the neighborhood increases, reaction times for both drivers and pedestrians inevitably decline, further increasing the potential for accidents. Currently, we face significant difficulty when leaving our property, as vehicles or snowbanks block our ability to see approaching traffic. Even now, we must often inch out of the road safely, assess traffic conditions. If the Menards' proposed construction were to proceed and block even a small line of portion of sight, we fear the risk of accidents will increase significantly. Additionally, I routinely mow along Route 3, which is only a foot away from the roadway, and I have seen vehicles speed or riding the shoulder sometimes dangerously close to the edge. With traffic increasing in this area, it has become more difficult to safely cross the road, yet alone navigate our driveway. For all these reasons, we respectfully reject the proposed variance to reduce the setback requirements from 50 to 30. We believe any encroachment to the setback area would further compromise the safety of all properties and residents in this area. We appreciate your consideration of our concerns and urge the town of Plattsburgh to take these safety issues into account when evaluating this variance request. Sincerely, Ed Jolly, Carol Jolly at 17 Bracken Road, Morrisonville, New York, 12962.
That's the property to the left, is that correct?
Yes.
To the left or to the right?
Left.
No, the left.
As you're looking at it to the
Hey.
left.
Yes, sir. If I can say something on that?
Well, I mean, it's pre-existing non-conformity because you don't have the 50 feet to start with. We're not actually reducing it from 50 to 30 feet. You are already at 30 feet.
Yeah.
Right. So it's,
I mean, he's absolutely right about the traffic. I agree with him wholeheartedly to the right, but we're not, we're not moving out any closer to the, to the road. We're building on the
I don't
same.
see where there's a site problem, that you're gonna create more of a site.
Plus, we have the hedges that come right, if you notice, the hedges come right out.
Yeah, the hedges would be more of a site issue in the
And
right.
those
Must
have
be an
been
old
there
picture?
since we've
Is that
been
an old
there.
picture?
24, April.
Because I thought he took out, the neighbor took out those hedges and that. But I could be wrong. On the left, on the house left. Is that hedges there next to his stone wall? That shows the
Over on the
shadow?
left part?
Yeah.
Yes, right there.
Yeah.
Yes,
Did
those
you
are
take those
hedges.
out or not?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay, I thought maybe you did.
So it's April 2024. These are our flyovers this year.
Because there's no, looks like above ground pool.
Well, they
that
said
was
they
supposed
put
to
a
be on the
turnaround
outside.
in there. I don't see the.
There was at one time, yes.
Oh, it's on this thing, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was
Well,
taken
their
out
building
years
is
ago.
30 feet from the road.
There was also a barn on the left side.
The one that. Yeah, that secondary building there.
The garage.
Yeah, the garage. I mean, that's gotta be within 10 feet of the lot line.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's an
yeah,
accessory
yeah,
building,
yeah. Board members have any questions, comments?
Well, I mean, just like we just did in the last, the variance request, it looks like this could be achieved because it's not built. Either by shrinking the garage or doing something. I don't see how we can grant pre-existing or pre-approve something that's not there, as far as the right side. Of the front, to me, it's in line with the existing house and it's pre-existing non-conforming. But the garage itself, if it was shrunk instead of being 35 feet deep, that would also reduce the, I don't know how much it would have to be shortened in its depth to achieve at least the 5 feet that would make that right side compliant with the 30-foot side yard.
It's,
I don't have the math
Yeah,
here to know what that
I-
angle is and
I
so
mean,
forth.
I don't have, do we have the actual dimension?
It's 28 by 35. So there again, even shrinking the width of the garage 5 feet would achieve that if he still
Well,
wanted
it says
35
garage
feet.
slab, 25 feet. That's it. Oh, garage side, okay, I'm sorry.
Donna said
28 by 35, yeah. So, okay, the 28 feet is starting at point. Your 28 feet is starting where, right?
On the back corner of the proposed garage or on the front corner?
Can we go back to the picture of the house,
And
right there? So you're going right
so
to the
you're
right side
going
of the
to
garage.
the right
of the house.
side, yes, that's correct.
Right.
So the 28 feet would be starting once we tear down the existing garage.
You're saying from the garage?
Yes,
From the left-hand side of that.
The
garage.
left-hand side?
yes, sir,
So
The
you
left hand or
basically
right
got-
hand?
from the left side.
So you're already taking 12
Right.
feet, so you're putting on basically, what is it, 12?
16?
18?
16.
Math, it's not working today.
Mine either.
One's approved.
So,
It probably has nothing to do with it, but the back portion of the existing garage, which is gonna be the same with the new garage, is actually a 10 by 10 laundry room.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's part of the reason why we wanted to go a little wider also, because it's so narrow now to get the cars in. You know, I mean, as far as, there's steps that come down from the kitchen inside the garage, and it kind of makes it really tight in there. So we thought if we widened it up, that, it would be, kind of modernize it. Nobody has one car anymore. Everybody has two cars, and, we thought we would modernize it and just go a little wider so we could make sure we get the two cars in there.
do you know what the actual dimension of your existing garage is?
Do I know what it is?
You just said it
Yes.
was 10.
The,
10 feet? It looks like
The
a,
9
I
foot
got
door.
11.2. But that's from siding to, with the siding on and everything. I got 11 foot 2 inches. So the interior is 10.1.
I mean, my garage is 22 foot wide on my house for 2-car garage. And it's certainly not as deep as 35, I wish it was, but,
yeah.
Yeah, because we were gonna have an entrance door going in on the side,
mhm.
from the front on the side. So,
So I guess what I'm saying is, by reducing it 5 feet would give you 23 feet in width, which it does work, that's what they build garages to be, is 22 by 24 or whatever.
24 by 24 is really a standard garage, yes.
okay.
What, if you want the 24?
Huh?
23,
If you want 23, you'd have, to me, it's wide enough for 2 cars, I get 2 cars in my garage, and so,
22, you said.
Yeah, we could probably do away with the entrance door to the
Right.
side of the garage
Yeah.
doors.
Hmm.
And that would probably.
You could put it on the side.
That would, yeah, we'll have to put it on the side, you could do it like that.
and that way they're, at least we're meeting the side yard, the front yard, again, is pre-existing, non-conforming, I don't have a problem with it.
Are they off on the side yard on this or not?
Yeah, it's
Based
two.
on whatever he said.
You got 40 feet total. You need 50?
We need 50.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, to minimize their request is to at
You
least
can't,
achieve the
you can't
30
change
foot.
to 15,
Right,
so the variance is for the total of 50.
not just one side.
Right.
He could put a 45 in that corner and try and get it too, if it would still work to be able to get a vehicle in there. You know what I'm saying, that back right corner?
Mhm.
Because that's where the closest point is, because your property line goes like this.
Right, it's kind of
So
on the
you're-
angle.
As long as you're finding the front, right,
Mhm.
you could be 28 feet in the front. It's the back.
Yeah,
It comes
that's the
over.
issue.
So if you come back and you 45 that, and now you got your full width there,
Mhm.
you wouldn't even need a variance
Okay.
for the side yard.
Yeah,
But if the variance is for the 50 foot and not the 30 foot.
Well, that's the front yard.
But
No, I'm
you're
talking
saying
the side yard.
The
The total.
total of the side yard.
The variance is for both because he's expanding, but you can't change the front because it's
No, I
already.
realize that, but I'm talking about the 50 foot
Yeah.
side yard. If we're,
Yep.
if we're not looking at 30 foot as the variance request, because it has to be 30 on one side, right? To make 50?
No, it has to be 50. The
50
minimum-
total.
The minimum is 20.
Minimum is 20, right.
So-
So at a minimum on this side, it would need.
So yeah, he meets his minimum, right now by 8 feet on that one side, but the 15 feet on the other side doesn't meet a minimum. So that's,
I realize
and you
that.
can't move
Well,
that,
we
so.
can't change a
But
15,
you
but
can't be, yeah, you
we already achieved the 30. is what I'm saying. That if one has to be 20, the other side has
Yes.
to be 30.
Yes,
So
same language.
we would, I'd have a difficulty, we just denied a request for a building that's already, that can be conforming.
Right.
And so.
They have the ability to do
Right.
else, yeah.
So if we shortened the width and that was in compliance, then would I have to come back here for the front yard again?
No, you do that all tonight.
You do it all.
If you say you're gonna comply with your side yard,
Mhm.
then they would just vote tonight on your front yard.
Okay.
Expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming, front yard setback, it is what it is, as long as you're not encroaching any more.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So if you go to
Yeah.
you reduce it 5 feet, like, you know.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm backing up because the request is for the 50-foot total.
Total. That doesn't give you 50 feet then.
Well, whatever the width has to be to meet the 50-foot, because it's not built yet.
Right.
Or the 30.
Back to 60.
Huh?
So it's like you're saying, 30 for
No.
that one side in total of
I'm
the
saying
50.
it's gotta be
so
45, right? I mean, to meet the 50-foot.
yes. So
Couldn't
you
we
either go,
Couldn't we get a variance for, you know, the other side, the 15 foot?
No, because it's already pre-existing.
If you meet the 30 on this side, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
To change the variance, well, there wouldn't be a variance request because it's pre-existing non-conforming, right? So the question is, does a variance change if we say this side meets 30 and so we're asking for a variance on the left side of 15 feet? That's already pre-existing?
no, because you're encroaching, he's asking to encroach in on the 30-foot side.
Yeah, I'm saying if he meets the 30.
If he
The 30
downsizes it to
30 is not a number.
Well,
There's no 30. There's a minimum 20 or 50. It can be 25 and 25. There's no 30. There's a minimum 20 and then whatever else is left. You can have 20 and 45 on the other side, doesn't matter. But you gotta have it at least, if you only have 20 on one side, you have to have at least 30 to make it.
Right.
Okay? So throw that 30 out there, it's 50 total, but you're supposed to be at least 20 on one side and he's only 15 on one side.
Right.
So what you're looking at is, because you can't change the 15, then
you're looking at 35.
you're looking at a total of 50 feet, and he's 7 feet shy. He's giving you 28, he still needs 7 more feet.
Right.
Can't move the house 7 feet and give you 21 on that side, so he's asking for a variance on the right-hand side if he leaves it the way it is.
Because the way you look at your setbacks, it says minimum and total. So
Or
you
you
have to achieve the.
shorten your
minimum.
garage, angle your garage, gain
There's no way
7
to
more
do it,
feet.
it's already pre-existing.
Why don't we
That's
just
what Alan's.
come to have them table it and come back?
So does
to
that mean it
something?
has to be 35 on the right side to meet the 50, is what I'm asking?
You have to have a total, so whatever the total, so. what
Right.
you're saying is-
No,
So
you're
it has to
right.
be 35 feet.
Right, that's, he doesn't have 35 feet, that's
So
why
you
he's
have
asking
to
for
make the
7-foot
garage
variance.
18 foot wide to supposedly make.
But if he tells you right now that he's gonna change that and make it comply, then that side yard part of this variance goes away, and all you're doing is granting the
dealing
front
with the
yard.
front.
That's correct.
If he can do it, right.
Well, if he tells you that, he
I
can't
mean,
do
if
that.
it's visually gonna be workable for you.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you wanna think about it, you can easily table this for a month.
I mean, as long as it's a standard, 2-car garage, I can get it in. I mean,
Or
I don't
as-
have-
Just a couple of ideas here, I
You could
guess.
run it exactly what Brett just said, you could run the whole wall parallel.
You could actually come over farther with your front wall, your road facing wall.
Mhm.
Run the wall on a bias along your property line
Parallel.
and stay within side so that you still meet your 35 you have to have on that one side.
Mhm.
Still having your 24 on the inside to park 2 cars inside.
So you're saying take the front wall and skew it back. That's an option.
Skew it west.
You'd have
Yeah.
a triangle type thing in the back end of the
Way over
property,
here.
or the back end of the building.
Right.
Just stay parallel.
Yeah.
It all
But
depends on how much
if you-
LCD you have.
If you,
Parallel to that.
if you were to take a chunk out of that corner, so you can get that depth, I don't know where this depth meets the 45, but it might be enough to get the side yard, but it might be enough
Mhm.
to get a vehicle in there. If you're talking 10 feet, what's the distance from that corner to the side yard? Because obviously this is protruding away from the building.
Okay, so we need a total of 35 feet.
You need
So
35
we,
feet on that side.
I mean, I'm sure we can do something. I'll work with the engineer and,
I think that's, That would be a good idea.
So do you wanna
I
just,
think just knocking off that front entrance going in, as we had talked, and maybe make it into a side entrance.
But your width can only be
Your
18 feet.
width, you know,
If you're gonna go back 35,
Yeah.
it's still,
what they're talking is
well,
different right
your
here.
other option is too, is it's not half it that deep. You can, if you shorten it up, instead of going 35 feet deep,
Right,
your corner is gonna be moving it up too.
right, to hit that thing.
Okay, you got some options, so
Yeah,
you wanna table it and make sure you can do those things?
Or do
Yeah.
you wanna go forward with your, so you'd be pushing this back to January, or do you ask for a vote, so you have some options?
yeah,
but right now, if you're gonna be compliant on the western side, you're only needing to ask for the front yard variance. We can just not deal with
Right.
the side yard and you can move forward.
But
Just
at the
knowing that
same
you
time-
gotta be
Right,
compliant.
but
with
at the same
35
token,
feet.
if you want to think about it and talk with your engineer, maybe you could ask for tabling it for 30 days.
okay. It's just,
There's a
I
lot.
have no problem doing that, but trying to get together because, you know, everybody's so busy
Right.
when you're dealing with them and trying to get them to do it within
Well,
the
that's up
30
to you.
days.
Well,
That's-
we
that's
can
the whole
we
issue.
can give you a 60-day variance or continuation.
I would probably feel more comfortable with a 60
Because you're not gonna
day.
start in the middle of winter most likely.
No, we didn't plan on starting till May or June.
I'd rather have you be sure of what you can do than,
Hopefully
you know, just take the variance and find out it doesn't work for you.
Yeah,
So then the
Yeah.
motion would be to grant a continuation
I'll make that motion.
for 60 days is good, or you want 90?
nope, 60 days should be
60
okay.
days, okay.
Okay.
Made, Patrick made one, Mary Ann second,
Mhm.
show of hands, and a roll call vote,
Henry Hill,
yes.
Basil Forrest.
Yes.
Roger Black,
Yes.
Mary Ann Alexandro.
Yes.
Patrick Duhane.
Yes.
Alright,
Very
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next one is Mr. Jay White, appeal number 2338. Jay White at 84 Baker Road is requesting to be allowed to extend the front deck around the dwelling of the east side and west side, connecting front decks to the proposed additions on the east side and an accessible ramp, which doesn't meet the 50-foot front yard setback in an R2 district, encroaching 41 feet into the roadside front yard and leaving 9 feet to the property line. So Ellen has some of the details and pictures from today or yesterday, I believe.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, out here is 374. This is the Baker Road. It comes down to the very end. This large 10, 11 acre lot right here is what we're talking about. It's all zoned R2. So this is the house that sits on that large portion. You can see the road comes down here. This deck right here is currently in the front, is what's pre-existing and only 9 feet off the property line. So as you can see the road here, it's the deck and the stairs here. So he's looking to extend this out over to this section as well as onto the other side. This is not going to encroach any more than what it is already. So there's that big parcel I was showing you. So this is, you can see where it was already, when it was surveyed back in, I think it was 2014.
14.
So here you can see, that's the property line. From the property line to the deck, it's only 9 feet at the closest point. Here's where you can see, so this white portion right here is the existing front deck. He wants to extend it and attach it over here, and extend it and attach it over here. Again, the closest point is this corner, and he's not getting any closer when he does the extensions. Okay, sir, anything you'd like to add?
1 second, I don't know if I ever actually closed the public hearing portion of the last meeting, so.
If you did, you're
I
right.
did that. It's all yours.
Well, I don't know if you have any questions about what I've submitted to you folks. If you have additional questions, the reason for this project is because of my parents' disabilities. And this is really for ease of motion for them, egress and ingress for them themselves and for emergency services, of which seem to be increasing possibilities. So we're looking to make things as safe for them. I don't know if you can bring that one picture back up of the stairs. there, but I'm not quite sure how this house actually got built in this condition. One part of it was built in '65, the back portion in the mid-'90s. But for as long as we've had zoning, we've had this, I believe we've had this 50-foot setback for the front yard. So how it became to be that this happened, I'm not sure. I'd be removing the stairs. Obviously, they're not in any position to use those, and it's really not even though that's the front door. Right now it's very inaccessible even for visitors to get to that front door. Those stairs are not built to code, so they're steeper than is allowed, and so.
The garage underneath there too, isn't it?
No, it's just a walkout basement. There's just a passenger door there. So on the other side of the house, on the other side of the three-season porch that's on the left-hand side there, behind there is kind of what they use as the main access, but it's still stairs to get up there. It's where the garage is as well. So everything's kind of very disjointed. So I'm removing the three-season porches, this one on this side, and I've already removed the one on the east side. I already have a foundation in and started framing for the renovation work for the inside to accommodate new accessible bathrooms and those sort of things. And this three-season porch will be coming off, and I'll be incorporating the ramp and other accesses into the house. So this deck connection really kind of solidifies access to the front door. And on the other side, where the porch that I've already taken off is going to be part of a master bedroom suite, and is going to have direct access out onto the deck. And I feel much more comfortable for them having emergency services access directly to where they sleep, in case there's something in the middle of the night that they need to respond to.
So the interior floor plan doesn't allow for smooth flow to one side of the house?
It does not.
Okay. That's the main reason for
exactly right.
Wrapping around the exterior.
To be very transparent with you folks, I wanted to build a brand new house for them right next door. Somehow they had a discussion that they're not going to invest my inheritance that way, which resulted in a big argument, but that's a separate issue. This house inside they're very small rooms. The hallway is very narrow. A stretcher could not get through. My mother's basically reduced to a walker, sometimes a wheelchair most of the time. There's just numerous issues with both of them for mobility that, and the other problem is obviously renovating a house with people living in it is a big shell game. So trying to kind of go room by room is obviously very difficult. So this is kind of the best plan I could develop for them, and so that's why we're here.
Okay. Open up the public hearing portion of the meeting. Anybody here like to speak to this matter? And I don't think we had any other comments for anybody.
No, I went down to the county for a 239M referral, Mr. Chairman, and went 8 in favor of the action, 0 not in favor, 0 absent, and 0 abstained from this.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, just point out, he mentioned that he's renovating the 2 rooms on either side, and the reason that's not here for variance is because he's staying on the same footprint.
Same thing. Okay. And I will close the public hearing portion of the meeting.
So just to clarify, the left room that you're looking at here, that's gonna be deck? You're tearing that out?
No, that's going to be renovated from a 3-season to a 4-season, just like the porch on the east side. That is a separate. And I apologize, Mr. Chairman. I misunderstood my conversations with Mr. Imhoff as far as the 2 variance applications that were made. It's obviously just one that you're considering here tonight. But the first building permit and variance application was for these 2 existing 3-season porches that I'm converting to 4-season, frost walls and all of that. That's
So
going to
it's
be
the same
condition
footprint,
space.
But that's gonna be your pass-through method of getting from those ramps in the
It-
back
it-
around
exactly
to the
right.
front to the other side.
The temporary ramp, I want to bring basically undercover to where that ramp is not subject to the weather and all of that, just to make that safer as well, so.
And so the access to get to this side, the left side of the house deck that you're looking to add, how do they access that?
I apologize, I'm not sure.
Well, it looks like you're putting a proposed deck up against this left side.
You're gonna have a door right
There,
here.
there will be a door
How do you get
on
up to
this
that
side, there's already a door on the other side, but again, the structure is gonna be completely
And
removed,
how do you
so.
get to the deck, up on the deck? Are you coming from outside?
On the other side, there's already a deck with steps that come up, and that's what that ramp is currently connected to.
Okay,
And there is a door into that three-season porch, and then there's a sliding glass door that goes into the kitchen.
so the only way to get to the left side of the house deck is gonna be on the right side of the house? According to, I mean, as far as the steps that are here.
From inside the house.
No, I'm talking outside. There's only a set of steps on the right-hand side proposed on this deck, so there's no way to access this deck from the ground.
Right.
Outside. Okay.
So, correct, and so obviously there's no way right now, other than those stairs, to get to the front door.
Right,
So this deck, along with the new addition, that's gonna have doors on both sides, is what is gonna create the access from the driveway where, you know, emergency vehicles would respond, or where their own vehicles are. Both a doorway for the ramp and a regular passengerway door is both what's going to give access into the house and to the deck that goes all the way around. So I guess to simplify, I think I understand where your quandary is.
well, there's just, I mean, if somebody drove up to that house right now, there'd be no way to get to the upper deck other than climbing up onto the hill. on the
Exactly
right-hand
right, and that's
side.
what I'm trying to avoid, is that the driveway goes around, they'd have to kind of trample through, kind of, there's no walkway, there's no anything. So access into the new addition is gonna be a portion that goes right to the deck.
All from the back side of the house, though. You're
Correct.
entering the house from the back
Correct.
side, not from the front.
But it creates a flow to go all the way around the house, which is
Mr.
the access that I'm.
What are you doing with the landscape stairs, or are we on the right hand side? There are stairs over here.
Well, they're railroad ties, yeah,
Yeah.
and that is being removed. Yeah, those are treacherous, and it's a horrible kind of setup that.
I think we had discussion on those about 10 years.
Well, that and, so, it's interesting that you brought that up, Mr. Chairman, because, I think at the time, my father was trying to build a deck right on the ground. And obviously, good building practice would suggest that's not the way to do it. But the reason that he was doing that is because on the far side of the house, in the backyard, I don't know if you can get to that plan view of the, yeah. So there's a white boat out back. If you come this way, you'll see a deck that's out there, and it's all right on the ground. So he was building it kind of the same way that an existing deck was, but certainly understood why you guys needed to deny that. But as far as your question on those stairs, those are being removed. I'm moving the mailbox and all of that so that they don't have any need to get out there.
All right, if we look at the balancing test, whether the benefit can be achieved by other means feasible to the applicant, I guess from what our discussion has been, is pretty much that's the only way to be able to get free access and to get medical or attention in and out of the place. Undesirable change in neighborhood character to nearby properties. There's not too many nearby properties, and you're not encroaching any further than your existing deck is anyways. Whether the request is substantial, is pre-existing non-conforming with the 9 foot from the deck to the property line. Whether the request will have adverse physical or environmental effects, I don't see any of those. And whether the alleged difficulty is self-created, which that doesn't necessarily negate us from granting the variance if it was, and I don't see that it is. So, anybody have any other questions or concerns? Anybody like to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve the variance.
Second.
One second, and show of hands on that. And a roll call vote?
Henry Hale,
Yes.
Basil LaForest,
Yes.
Roger Black,
Yes.
Mary Ann Alexandro,
Yes.
Patrick Duhane.
Yes.
Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate your time and hope you guys have a great holiday season.
Thank you, Mr. White. Next appeal. Appeal 2339 Juan Bruno, come right up front and center. I was asking for an area variance request to be allowed to construct an attached garage that doesn't meet the 50-foot front yard setback in an R2 district, encroaching 10 feet into the roadside front yard setback, leaving 40 feet to the property line. Mr. Reese has some current pictures he'd like to show you.
Mr. Chairman, we're out in Cadyville area. This is Route 3 coming out of Cadyville. This is the Trudeau Road going up. This property right here has been subdivided recently, and the applicant has actually purchased the property that's right up here. You'll see that this is all R2 down here, and then this line here is the R5, which was previously MH district up there. So this is the property. I just want to point out the location of these houses here compared to the front property line. So here's her house, here's the road, this corner right here, this is the attached garage that's going to be done in a future phase. Okay, but right now the foundation is inside, so once this was poured, it looked close, we took a measurement from here over, and noticed that this right here is actually 10 feet closer to the road than it's supposed to be. You can also see that the house has been skewed a little bit, so this portion back here meets the setback, but as you come this direction, the house was turned, and now it crosses into the 10-foot. And then, ma'am, you've got some pictures here that you provided, so turn it over to you.
So, right from the get-go, my plan was to have the house skewed to go along with that tree line. I wanted to preserve as many trees as I could and not take them down. Future plan is a deck and a pool out the back. So again, needing to keep up some of that room and wanting to line the back of the garage up with the house. Financially, I couldn't do everything this year till I get in and sell the other property. That's why the garage itself isn't going to be erected till next year. But being attached, I wanted them to be able to pour all one, the basement and the garage together. I honestly can't tell you what happened with the measuring, if they thought 50 feet from the center line instead of 50 feet from the property line, or what happened with the contractor. There was miscommunication, lack of communication when it came to pouring the footers. I got the call at 9-something that morning from Brianna. By 3:10 in the afternoon, I had everything back that was needed. Alan was able to approve moving forward. If you want to go to one of my pictures, if you wouldn't mind, that one. So this is where the forms were inspected to say, okay, go ahead and pour the walls. And I mean, above ground, but they were given the okay to go ahead and pour the walls. The walls were poured, and as was pointed out, it was after the walls and the fill was put in and the floor was poured that I was contacted to say that the left corner of the garage is the 10 feet over the setback. Frost walls because it's attached, so there's 8 feet of concrete in the ground for the garage.
Is the house skewed that much for that tree line to be 10 feet, or?
Do you have an overhead of the house?
No, because these pictures are from April and your house wasn't there.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if you had an overhead.
That's why the lines here, your subdivision was completed after this picture, so it doesn't even show your
Right.
subdivision lines.
Yeah. So, not an artist, but when I had come in to do the permit, I had taken the realtor picture from the subdivision and kind of traced that to show like this was the tree line and this is what I wanted to do with the house to keep in line with the tree line, and then also the kind of flow. Siskafich or Siskavich, however they pronounce her name, are on the hill to the left in this picture, and their house is at a very much an angle. So I dropped mine a little bit, and then Frank and Nora's is square, so it just kind of like transitioned the homes down for aesthetics. There's a great sunrise and sunset view from here, and so I wanted to make sure that my slider out my dining room in the back was going to catch that, and then my living room windows were going to catch the sunset on the front. I originally had looked at doing a 24 by 24 garage, but the engineer said that I had to go 28 to accommodate the man door and the two 9-foot overhead doors. So it did extend it to the left a little more than original, which that was updated before the permit was actually put out for me, which, not that it makes a difference, because I did see that R3 is the same setbacks, but my permit says R3 instead of R2. But
Open the public hearing portion of the meeting. Anybody here like to speak to this matter? Do we have any other comments?
Went down to the county. That's all. It went down to the county. I don't know why this one's the 11-0 and the other one's your 8-0. 11-0 in favor, 0 not in favor, 0 absent, and 0 abstained.
Different month.
Oh, this was 12-4, yes. 12-4, because this was caught after the fact.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, in the beginning, I told you that this slide here is a good example. So you can tell all these houses in front of her house, none of them comply with 50-foot front yard setback.
Right, yeah.
And then also want to point out, so this is where the district line changes. So again, none of these houses comply. Up here, this front yard setback is 30 feet.
So you have to move the house?
Huh?
You have to move the house?
No, I'm saying the existing character of the neighborhood doesn't comply.
Sell if you want to widen the road.
And if that whole thing was at R5 instead of R2 and R5,
If it's R5,
she'd still
I'd
comply.
be 80 grand ahead because I would have done a double wide on a slab. But yeah, the first day that I saw that property, I knew that it was where I wanted.
Do we
to
know
be.
what the angle of ascent is going from here south, as far as where the garage is? Like, how much would it change in width to the road?
The center.
Like, is the house even compliant?
Yeah, so
Yes.
the
So
far end
this
towards Route
here
3 is compliant.
drops to 5 feet over. So it's 10 feet here, 5 feet here. It's
Compliant,
decent-
the house is in compliance.
yes,
Yes, okay.
it's decent angle.
All right, so we do know.
And also the road angles at the same time as my house.
Okay.
And honestly, like, somebody had said to me, why didn't you just put the house parallel? I'm like, well, isn't that kind of boring? But again, I was trying to go with that tree line and not cutting.
A little less expensive.
So to minimize it, you could just build a single car garage.
No, the thing of it is it's already poured.
It's already
Right.
poured.
Yeah.
Foundation's already there.
Everything's done. And
Yeah.
I
Quite a bit of expenditure already.
definitely would have like relooked at it and probably went to non-attached and
Oh,
said,
yeah,
"Oh,
that-
no,
I mean,
wait till
could've-
spring and figure out the whole thing," but
Yeah, or either that could have just sort of back a couple of feet too. Yeah.
but then I might be cutting trees because of the distance. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, which he loves to cut trees, but
I think, close the public hearing portion of the meeting. Thank you. We need people just to keep reminding me of doing it.
No, he does very.
All right, if I go for the balancing test for area variance, it is whether the benefit can be achieved by other means feasible to the applicant, and the problem is that everything is pretty much in the ground and toward our property at a fairly good cost of doing that. Undesirable change in neighborhood character or nearby properties has been pointed out. Most of the properties in that area aren't actually in compliance to start with. And whether the request is substantial as 10 feet, but the house is still in proper compliance. Whether the request will have adverse physical or environmental effects, there's none of those. And whether the alleged difficulty is self-created, to a certain extent it is, but that doesn't necessarily negate us from granting the variance. So saying all those wonderful things and get to the point where I'm losing my voice, it's up to you guys to make a motion
I'll make a motion to approve the variance.
I'll second.
Second, and show of hands. Roll call vote.
Henry Hill,
Yes.
Basil LaForest,
Yes.
Roger Black,
Yes.
Mary Ann Alexandra.
Yes.
Patrick Duhon.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You all have a wonderful holiday.
It's been a long month.
That's all.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. See how quick those things go?
Another year,